So this is my cheap little Nesco coffee bean roaster. You can roast a small amount of green coffee beans in the hopper. It's about a quarter cup of beans that you can do with it. And this on it's about $100 on Wayfair, I believe it is. You can get these for about $100, or at least that's what it used to be. And it is sometimes cheaper to, or at least cost effective to buy green beans in bulk and roast them if you like coffee. So this is a little, again, a tiny, a very, very cheap roaster that works very well. This here, you've got the actual, the chaff holder there that it goes into. But what I want to talk to you about is if it stops working, this is how you can fix it. And what happened with mine is it stopped roasting beans. They would only get very, very lightly roasted. They wouldn't fully roast. There was still heat coming out of it, but they weren't roasting fully. It was still going for the same amount of time when you press the dark or the medium, but the beans weren't roasted. So how do you fix it? Well, you got to unscrew the screws in the bottom. There's a screw under each foot, and there's 2 screws here. And then you lift off this whole top part. This whole part comes off along with this, which separates, and then you'll see basically a tin can in the middle of it, which is effectively the base there, which you can't see. And there's 3 screws in that. You take those 3 screws out, and then you can see the heating element, which wraps around basically the tin can that holds the beans there, which is above the little fan that blows the air and through the heating element. And the problem is there's a small heating element and a larger heating element. The small one takes about 100 watts, and I think it's a bit of a preheater. And you'll see the larger coil that goes around this on the inside is the big one, which uses up to 1200 watts of electricity. And that does your main heating. So if this is heated a little bit, but not 100%, that's going to be your problem. And there's going to be a disconnect. So in mine, the very end of it, where it connects back to complete the circuit, had basically melted off. It overheated or it stretched. They can fatigue. The metal will fatigue because it expands and contracts as it heats. And it's very important to let the cool down process finish properly, because that little preheater coil in there will not let the big coil heat up or cool down too quickly, so it prevents the fatigue. But if you just reattach that main coil there, I couldn't solder it. I had to kind of press it back into the fitting where it was broken off, and just complete the electrical circuit with that. Or if you have another break in it somewhere, you can just attach it together somehow, wind it together, whatever you need to do. So there's an electrical circuit there. Then put it all back together, and it should be pulling about 1200 watts. When this is working properly, at the end of its roast, it pulls 1200 watts. When it starts up, it pulls about 400 or 500 watts. And like I say, near halfway or end of cycle, it's pulling 1200 watts on and off. It'll shut off for a while, then go up to 1200 watts for a while. If it's pulling 1200 watts, then you know that the main heating coil is working properly, and you'll feel a lot more heat out the top. And you can do some test runs with it, and then put your beans in, and happy roasting. So that's it. If you have this unit, that's how you can fix the problem with it not fully roasting your beans. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.